Hi, what's up guys? Welcome to Young Family in our YouTube channel. Today is November 20th, 2021. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the tree problem in our front yard and backyard. Stay tuned. Just recently, we moved to this new neighborhood. It's a beautiful and peaceful neighborhood. Right now, I'm standing in our front yard. As you can see here, just in front of our house, there's wide street. Even though this street is pretty wide, but it is pretty quiet. Not so many traffic. Right now, I'm standing in the middle of the street. As you can see here, this street is pretty wide. Compared with normal size of street in the neighborhood, it is pretty wide. As you can see, in front that area does not have any big tree, but in this area you can see some big tree. So several big trees totally covered this street. So you can see a lot of shade in the street. A couple of months ago, when we moved right here, when we walk in the sidewalk, we feel so good because that time the temperature was still pretty high, especially during the summertime. Kind of, we just walk in the forest. But unfortunately, so many big trees, it might cause some problem. Now let's talk about this big tree. This big tree is just in front of our house. As you can see here, this tree is really huge. A lot of branches. So first let me tell you the direction. That direction is north, and this is face east. And that direction is south, and this direction is west. So early in the morning, the sun goes up from that area and all the way go this direction. So right now the sun is right here. It's because right now it's almost noon. So as you can see in our front yard, you can see most of the part is in the shade because this big tree. And here you can see some sunlight because there's a gap right here. You can see the sun still can receive sunlight. So one problem is early in the morning to noon in our front yard can only receive very limited sunlight. It's just a filtered sunlight. As you can see here, there's one garden bed. So if I want to grow some like plants right here, kind of does not receive a lot of sunlight. As you can see here, this big tree has a lot of branches. The problem, these branches is really big. Some branches already reach the roof of our house. You can see here. And you can check out that branch. So let's go move over there. You see here, this branch is pretty dripping. It's already touched the roof. Even though I can reach some branches. So we worry about that one because, actually there's a lot of squirrels around. Some squirrels just chasing in the tree, and they can easily to go to the roof. And also all these branches is already reached the roof. During the winter time, it's going to rain a lot. So especially during the raining day and the windy day, so all these branches will shake and swipe on the roof. So it might cause some damage to the roof. So we really worry about it. We have big concern about our roof. Actually, as you can see here, the roof is not new. It's about over 10 years. So it might cause some problem. Because this big tree is not grow in our front yard. It's just next to the curb. So this tree belongs to the property of a city. So we cannot cut this tree. And then, as you know, the tree service is pretty expensive in Los Angeles. So we once contacted the city, request some people to be here to cut the tree because it might cause them damage to our roof. The city sent some people to be here. They said this is not an emergency, so they are not going to send us people to be here to cut the tree. And also, they are not going to plan any tree service in this neighborhood. They said, if we really want to cut the tree, we have to get approval from the city, and also we have to pay the expense. We hire some people, we pay the money. It's kind of like ridiculous because they said this is a project problem. Our neighbor told us, even though the city sent some people to be here, they are not going to heavy cut the tree. They only just a slight cut the tree. So kind of we still have to hire some people. We have to pay the expense to trim the tree. Yesterday when I came home, I found several gardeners. They will trim the tree. Actually, this big tree is just in front our neighbor front yard. Actually, this tree is really big. But they cut the tree because the gardener told me this tree is dead. Let me show you. You can see this tree is really big. You can check out inside. It's kind of like a rotted. I'm not sure it's a pest or some other disease. I have no idea. But anyway, this tree is dead. So they cut this tree. So totally, the gardener told me, the label paid this tree service with $1,000. Come on, guys, $1,000 to cut down this big tree. Very expensive. Actually, this price is not very expensive because we once asked some other gardeners. They request more money to cut the tree. So anyway, we talked with that gardener and they said they're going to cut this tree with reasonable price for us. So this coming Tuesday, the gardeners, they're going to be here to cut the trees, but we have to pay the expense, unfortunately. So first, this big tree threatens the safety of our property. It might cause some problem to our property, especially for the roof. The second problem is this big tree blocked most of the sunlight in our front yard. Right now, I moved to the backyard. As you can see here, in our backyard, there's so many trees. Actually, it's big trees, especially 3 big palm trees. You can see, really tall. And that tree is in our neighborhood, in our neighbor's backyard. So actually, right now it's early enough to learn. You can see they blocked some sunlight. So all these big trees in our backyard, there's a problem, 2 problems. One is a safety problem. The other problem, it blocks most of the sunlight. As you can see here in our backyard, I have some potted plants. Most of the potted plants cannot receive directly sunlight or not enough sunlight. So let's move to the backyard. You can see this is one big palm tree. And the middle one is another one. This is the biggest one in our backyard. And here, there's another palm tree. So the reason I said it's a safety problem, as you can see here, the leaves, they dried out. It's going to drop. There's some like electrical wire. You can see, and right here, electricity and internet cable, something like that. So that's why I have some concerns about these big trees. Here you can see one already dropped. There's another one dropped. There's two. So actually some are already removed. And here, because there's one electricity wire right here. So I don't want to pull it out. Maybe cause some damages. Actually, some trees are very close to the wall. It already caused some damage on the wall. You can see here, there's a big crack on the wall. Too many trees, that means too many animals. Sometimes the animals, like a squirrel, they always chase together in the tree. So basically all these big trees and also blocked a lot of sunlight. As I mentioned, there's one side yard. You can see here, totally no sun. One thing is this house blocked sunlight. Later in the afternoon, in that direction should receive some sunlight, but unfortunately, these big trees blocked sunlight. Actually, right now, you still can see some like windows, some like gaps between trees and branches, because recently I cut a lot of branches. You can see here, I cut it. So let's move to the outside of this wall. There's an alley just outside. Let's move to outside and take a look at. I cut so many branches. So right now I'm working on the sidewalk to the alley. It is just outside our backyard wall. You can see our neighborhood. It's beautiful and quiet. Just in front, there's an elementary school campus, so it is pretty quiet. So this is the alley. As you can see here, on the ground, there is a lot of cut branches. That's I cut it just several days ago. You can see here, a lot of trees, branches. I cut it. And check here, the branches. The branches. You see here, branches right here, the cut. But right now, you still can see a lot of trees, a lot of branches. Especially for these three big palm trees. I don't think I can do it. And here, even though this branch is not big, but unfortunately, there's an electric wire right here. I don't want to touch it. And right here, there's one just through the trees and several others over there. So this is the dried and dropped leaves from palm trees. You can see here, it's pretty heavy and hard. It's kind of like a wood. So it might cause some problem to our property. That's our big concern. Because so many dried leaves from palm trees, it's going to drop from the trees. Actually, just outside our backyard wall, in this alley, in this area, covered with cutted branch, you can see this is good spot for vegetables and any plants. So maybe later I'm going to explore this area and turn it into vegetable garden. And also probably I can build a door just around here, easy to access this area. So anyway, you can see we have too many trees in our backyard. It causes two problems. One is safety problem. The other thing is sunlight problem. So basically, I'd like to show you the tool. I cut the trees. Actually, the tool is right here. It's chainsaw. I think it is 4 inches. It is pretty tiny and small with two batteries. So, you see, it works very well.